Hello everyone. India beat Sri Lanka once again in the second ODI. Expected result, yes, but a competitive match for all of us to see. Let's go and talk about it on Time Out with Sports Adda. Hello Arun, competitive game. India beat Sri Lanka, but at least we got a good match to see.
Before the series, we spoke about this, and I said, hope it gets to 1-1 somehow, and then the decider goes in India's favor. It nearly happened. Competitive match, yes, but it just showed you a couple of things there. The inexperience in the Sri Lankan ranks, inexperience in the Sri Lankan captain as well, and that India were a touch superior, not by much, but touch superior. All the years of playing domestic cricket, IPL, the players know when to hold their nerve, how to hold their nerve. So that's the difference in the end.
Very, very well put. Also, we had spoken before the first ODI also that winning the toss is a big advantage. And we also hope that Sri Lanka will win the toss so that they get a good chance. I think they won the toss yesterday. They went according to script. They got up to 270, which was a decent total. Improvement on the first ODI. So that must be an heartening sight for them. But you're right. I mean, the kind of performers that yesterday closed the match for India, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Deepak Chahar, they are like seasoned professionals. Both of them have had like 10 years of domestic experience. Seasoned campaigners, if you may call it. They didn't go for any rash shots or anything. So yeah, that was a different temperament. They call it temperament, isn't it?
Absolutely. The application and the temperament stood out. I'm just going to give you a couple of numbers here. In that partnership between Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Deepak Chahar, it was 84 runs, I think, right? The highest in the match. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's contribution was only 19. He faced a fair number of deliveries, but so this is a match in brief. 275 for 9, fairly good score. Had this been a proper Sri Lankan team, this was a winning total. India were in a spot of bother when 5-6 wickets were down, and then that partnership between Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Deepak Chahar took it away.
Yeah, look, I mean, one stat, Arun, I wanted to talk to you about, and because you are into the entire this space. In a total of 275 for 9, Arun, batting first against an opposition where you've already got a start of 50 of 71 balls. If you go back at that scorecard. Is that something that is okay for a ODI where you score 50 of 71 balls when you know that a par score is in ODIs is like the rate is going higher? The rest of the people who got runs, Karunaratne actually, he was the one who got the score to this 275, but 50 of 71, shouldn't there have been a little more impetus coming from Avishka Fernando?
Yes and no, Akhil. I mean, we can keep talking about it, but I guess Sri Lankan cricket team now know where their strengths are. If I'm looking at the scorecard right now, even if you don't bring up the graphic again, Avishka Fernando, opener 50, Minod Bhanukka 36, Rajapaksa 0, Dhananjay De Silva 32, Asalanka 65. So beyond that, I don't know how much they know they're capable of getting or how much they can rely on players 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 getting them definite runs. I think that was a problem. I mean, I think Avishka Fernando, you're right in that he could have shown a little more urgency. But yeah, I mean, in one dayers, I'd rather have an opener drop anchor there, like Shikhar Dhawan did in the first ODI, right? He dropped anchor, saw the run chase through. But so, especially batting first, it's okay if you drop anchor, take your time, let the other players do the damage. But the Sri Lankan cricket quality is a problem. Let's be honest. The players probably don't know each other well as well. They don't know too much about each other. Like in international cricket, in that scenario, that's why I think I'll give them the benefit of doubt.
Yeah, I saw Hasaranga and Karunaratne, two people, Chamira, they were the ones giving Indians fight when they were bowling. When they got off to a decent start and they picked up wickets, and then they were going aggressively when they were bowling. I thought Hasaranga was a danger yesterday. He bowled really well, picked up 3 very, very important wickets. Even when he came on to bowl in the end, he did not let the scoring rate suddenly spiral up. So between these three bowlers, I think they did a good job. If only they may be the captaincy, like you mentioned, if they would have been able to get the bowlers back a little early, not allowed Deepak Chahar to get away in the beginning, a smarter captain would have probably a little bit of luck going also their way. The match result could have been different.
Yeah. Again, looking through the bowling cards, Sandakan, Lakshan Sandakan, I rate him highly, but 10 overs for 71.
Disappointing.
On a day on a day when he's gone for runs, I don't know if he merited the entire 10 overs.
True.
On the other hand, Chamika Karunaratne, 6 overs for 26. Didn't get to bowl 1 or 2 more
bowled
overs.
Impressively. Bowled short bowling was very good for Krunal Pandya.
Absolutely, yeah. And then Dasun Chanaka and Dhananjay De Silva, 3 overs each for 10 runs. Probably, a smarter captain would have gotten 1 more over out of each of those bowlers, and that would have made a difference. But Dasun Chanaka learned.
Yeah, very true. Also, before this, there is one picture that I want to talk about, Arun. But what I was thinking about when I was watching the game is this match, is a classic tribute to MS Dhoni. The kind of legacy that he's left with Indian cricket, Arun, of chasing totals so comfortably without any panic, without any rush of blood where you're going for a big shot, no confusion in running between the wickets. Deepak Chahar has played a lot of cricket with MS Dhoni, if you remember, at Pune and at Chennai also for the last 4 years. Bhuvaneshwar is a type of character that Dhoni would have liked. He's a Dhoni kind of a quiet, not too much words kind of a personality. So this kind of chases, when I see, it's a perfect tribute to Dhoni. Before Dhoni, this would have been a chase where they would have tried to hit a 6 and win a game easily. They would have been confused in running between the wickets, and this kind of win would have been a miracle. But now it's a regular Dhoni win.
I understand now why you're wearing a yellow t-shirt today. And is there a CSK jersey? But anyway, yellow. You're right. This is the MS Dhoni kind of win. I absolutely love this. I absolutely love how we're able to connect it to MS Dhoni. That man taught us how to win run chases, didn't he? There was a time when we struggled. There was a time when India mastered run chases under Dravid's captaincy. But then in between, we probably lost, the habit. And then again got back to that habit when MS Dhoni was captain. So I'm glad you brought that up. A few things I want to talk about quickly. Good to see Chahal back among the wickets for India.
Good to see he's bowled well, but Arun, I don't know whether this batting lineup is really testing them. I mean, the Krunal Pandya also, I'm not sure whether he's right now capable of going through his 10 overs against a rampaging English batting lineup with left-handers there who are capable of striking sixes, or even Lewis or Chris Gale or those kind of left-handed batsmen. So I'm still not convinced. Same with Yuzi also. I mean, he's bowled well in IPL previously, but I think against better lineups is what we'll have to see.
Hardik bowled 4 overs. Yeah.
I mean, he looked a little. He clutched his back a little yesterday.
That's a bit of a worry.
That's a bit of worry. I mean, I hope in the next one day at least he gets to bat up higher up the order. Bats at number 3. But obviously with Surya in that kind of form that he is, just looked outstanding. Just looked like a version of Virat batting.
You mentioned Surya, you mentioned Virat in the same sentence. So there's a tweet that Virat put out immediately after India won. Tells you the captain's actually watching from afar. And that's the kind of involvement you want from a Virat Kohli.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not there.
Yeah, and his commitment to Indian cricket is, of course, undoubtedly very, very strong. He's very passionate about the team. So, yeah, he's watching the game, following the game. I'm sure in his mind, he's also started to make plans for the T20 World Cup, see what kind of batting performances are coming. So, very nice of him to tweet that actually immediately after the match also. There's one more picture, Arun, that I wanted to show, and I mean, I think it will resonate very well with us. This was a celebration, when I was watching the game and when they picked up Krunal Pandya, they picked up Surya Kumar Yadav. The celebrations that Sri Lanka were doing, I mean, they looked like they wanted to win. It looks like an aggressive team who wanted to win and who wanted to create an impression by winning this one day. seems little odd to me, Arun. This is not really the style that Sri Lankan teams in the past used to celebrate. This looks like a team which they're like fired up to play against an opposition who's always beaten them. This is how Bangladesh used to actually react when they would try and beat India.
Look, these are good guys. Good guys deserve a win. Good guys need to feel happy. You just can't keep pushing. You just can't stamping over. Good guys. I actually wanted Sri Lanka to win yesterday, and like you said, that moment you picked out a fantastic photograph. It just tells you how desperate they are for a win. I mean, this is a photograph that I liked. And I'll tell you why I'll connect this photograph with another tweet that I've just picked up.
Yeah.
Jeevan Mendes, the former Sri Lankan all-rounder, he just put out a tweet this morning after Sri Lanka lost.
Yeah.
And I mean, he calls the Sri Lankan dressing room absolutely the worst place to be right now. I mean, you're gutted. I'm absolutely gutted for him.
Yeah.
And for all the Sri Lankan cricketers, and for legends like Mahela, Muralidharan, Matthews, Sangha.
Yeah.
Now you can go on. Like, I mean, a nation with so much cricketing legacy history just feels bad that they're finding themselves in such a rough spot in a corner, almost boxed in a corner. Like, you want them to win.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, yesterday's they almost clutched at it. They clutched at it. They felt like they just needed one wicket to pick up, and the commentators actually called one of the cameras going on Mickey Arthur, saying it's Mickey Cam. So Mickey Arthur's reactions yesterday were ebbing, and they were exactly showing how desperate this team is for one victory. And if it comes in between when the series is live, the impact would have been a lot.
What a boost that would have been. And Mickey Arthur will give you the best reaction on camera for any international coach. With Justin Langer, you'll probably get a little. With Ravi Shastri, is always this. but with Mickey Arthur, you'll get the whole range of emotion. So that was good. Problems with India, briefly, Akhil. The Sri Lankan openers once again got going. Why can't India find the breakthrough early on? Like I just tweeted out, a stat about opening partnerships against India. They've been like 100, 100, 100, 114, 117, a 9 in between or a 7 in between, a 14 somewhere, and then 47, 50. Like, I mean, that sequence it is mind-boggling. I mean, if you're an Indian cricket fan, you'll say, how is India a superpower in white ball cricket, despite the openers of the opposition doing this well?
Good pitches, I guess. Good pitches and 2 new balls just allows openers to flourish right now. So I guess that's the reason. I don't think Bumrah and Shami themselves have played that. Ideally is the best combination in white ball for India. So they have not played too much white ball cricket also. But I think more or less it's the pitches and the quality of batting just at the opening situation is much better. What do you think about changes for the Indian team in the third ODI? You think Sanju Samson will get a game, Navdeep Saini will get a game?
Sanju Samson maybe not. Navdeep Saini should get a game. But I'd like to see a few more changes, like a Devdutt Padikkal, for instance. I don't know. Again, who do you drop out? That's a difficult question to answer. But I'd like to see some changes. Get in a K Gautam, for instance, leave Krunal out and get a
Chahal
K
out.
Or a Kuldeep out. So
also Hardik at number 3.
Surya's not letting go. Surya, Manish are there. I'm disappointed that Manish hasn't been able to score runs, but we'll talk about that later. Run out backing up at the non-strikers end. Quickly, one last comment, Akhil. I've always been of the opinion that Prithvi Shaw, I mean, I love that guy, the way he plays, fearless. When he gets going, he can demolish the bowlers. But is he not one-sided, scoring through the offside only? And yesterday was a I don't know. Again, he was again trying to play through the offside, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You're
right on that point. Absolutely. I mean, when I was watching the first over, Arun, I was almost about to message you saying that the comparisons that happen between some cricketer completing 6,000 runs right now in ODI cricket in so many number of internationals and all is not fair enough. The Sri Lankan attack that they dished up half volleys to Prithvi Shaw where he had to just time the ball and the ball was running away. There were two wides down the leg side in the first over with the opening bowler coming in. I mean, this is not something that you know that batsman is very strong on his offside. You know he has a particular weakness. There's somebody like a Chaminda Vas, who's the bowling coach, who's sitting inside, who was such a fantastic bowler in ODIs, Arun. Do you think he would have ever given Prithvi Shaw so much width to just slash? He would have had him on the... tried to get him leg before, or... then that is the quality of bowling. Muralitharan would have never allowed them to get off to... So the quality of bowling is sorry. I mean, there's too much that we can talk about it, and you're right. I mean, Prithvi Shaw will get away with it in situations where he's not tested, but everything is not going to be batting in Sri Lanka and just going on the front foot and hitting through. Ultimately, you have to win semi-finals against New Zealand chasing 250, 240, or battle against Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc in tough conditions when you have
not
to win ICC tournament. Absolutely.
Or a Jofra Archer in England.
Absolutely. So these are challenges we will have to look after, and we'll talk about them going ahead on more episodes with Time Out with Sports Adda. Thank you so much for joining again. And 3-0 to India or 2-1 to Sri Lanka? What do you prefer?
If India make 4 or 5 changes, then it's possibly 2-1. Otherwise 3-0 to India.
All right. We'll catch you again and join us again on Time Out with Sports Adda after the third ODI.